Welcome, welcome. I hope you're all improving yourselves, working on yourselves, and becoming the best version of yourselves that you can. Now, today's video could be a little touchy, a little controversial, but it's all my opinion and my thoughts and ideas, and let's just get straight into it. So let's begin. Now, I want to start off by talking about family traditions, and especially when they are like religious traditions or just family traditions and the importance of them, and compare it to the direction that society is going today. Because you notice family traditions, especially like when they come from religion and things like that, they provide a good framework for families and the household, and more importantly, the structure of a household. And I think in some sense, this is being lost, and you can tell that by the amount of single parents there are nowadays, and the amount of divorces there are nowadays. And more importantly, what I want to get into in this video is the children of today. And because at the end of the day, sometimes it's the parents' choices which can make the children suffer the most. Do you understand? Especially in countries where there's no wars and stuff like that. Some children are just brought up in households that lack structure, and I think that then can create some problems in society. And when that child is growing up in society, because you remember, a child is very impressionable, the most impressionable state, so it is very important to get the upbringing of children correct. So let's start by saying, I feel like planning should be made beforehand, and it's kind of logical. It's common sense, right? Planning should be made before you have a child. Obviously, we know that doesn't happen in society, but the idea, or at least the idea in my head that I have, is if you want human society to progress, and if you're thinking long term, and you just want humans to live as long as they can, then it's important for you to make sure that every generation is leveling up in the sense that on your own sort of responsibility, the generation that you raise is leveled up from where you were, or at least you can't guarantee they'll level up, but what you can guarantee is that you can provide them with better opportunities than you got in your upbringing, right? And lots of people don't see it like that. And again, technology is increasing, society is leveling up, but imagine if everyone was more focused on that, the speed at which society would level up. So I think we can say most people just get carried away, they just bang it out, and then next thing you know, a child's on the way, and they weren't even thinking about having a child. And it's kind of like, okay, we have a child now, what do we do? How do we raise it? Because the planning wasn't done beforehand. And again, there's nothing wrong with that in some sense, because it's what happens. But I feel like there's just a level of structure and planning and family framework that is needed. And I don't think people take it as seriously as you can, or as they should, sorry. Because, most people are just, they don't think like that. They don't think, how it is. Most people, they go to the club, drink, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, they're pregnant. And there's no structure. So I want to get into the meat of the video now, and I want to just discuss 3 facts that I think should be discussed and implemented before you have children. So the first one is that first of all, I think having children should be a decision. Obviously, we know that doesn't happen in society, but it should be a thing now. And we know accidents happen and stuff like that, but hear me out, because this is where it's going to get important. Now, first and foremost, the person that you're doing stuff with, should be a person that you intend to spend your life with and build with, right? If you get that down, if you get that section down, right, then even if accident happened, let's say your protection rips or something like that, if that happens, okay, but you've intended, and obviously you haven't gone through like the abortion option, whatever, then okay, that's cool because you've intended to build with this person anyway. So yeah, financially and stuff, you may not be in the right position, but if you have that structure with this person and you have that mindset to build, you'll make it happen. I believe that you'll make it happen, right? The problem is when you're doing stuff with people that you're just out to have fun with and you're not really thinking ahead, then of course there's going to be a lack of responsibility between some parties sometimes because that wasn't their intention. If your intention though is to be with that person for life and to build with, then it's hard for things to go wrong after that. So again, it's just having that structure. If you're a structured person in the sense that you're working on yourself, you're self-improving yourself, you want to be the best version of yourself, then automatically you're going to pick someone that's on that same vibe. And then when you come together and build together, you're going to be on that same vibe and would have had the conversation about having children. Okay, now that's the first step. Once you have that in place, I then believe the second step is that you should be able to, when you decide to have children, you should be able to provide them with a life or opportunities which are either the same or if not better than the ones that you were brought up with. Now, me personally, I would say it has to be better, but the same is like a minimum requirement. You have to be able to give them opportunities and stuff that, you know, you couldn't get yourself. You know, like maybe you'll say, I wish I could have done this when I was younger or tried this when I was younger. Okay, so make sure that you build yourself up, work hard, and can offer that to your child to bring them up. What does this create? This creates generational leveling up. This creates generational excellence in the sense that each generation will be getting better. And if you're already, you know, on your stuff, then you're going to put that mindset into the children as well and make sure that they keep leveling up the generation, leveling up the family generation. Okay. And then again, the third one, if you're on your self-improvement with your partner, yeah, you should be in one of the most kind of level-headed states you can possibly be. What does that mean? That means seeing, learning about the world with your partner or just by yourself beforehand, and building that chemistry between you and your partner, so that way you can create such a nice functioning family household framework to operate within, and learning as much as possible. And, you know, again, because when I was a kid, I would look at my parents and think, yo, my parents know everything. Obviously, as you get older and you see how adults are, you realize that's not the case. And like, some adults are big kids in some sense. Yeah. Now, you want to make sure that you are the most kind of level-headed and understanding and self-aware point you can be at that time, and, you know, keep aspiring for more, because kids are going to ask questions, right? And you want to be able to give them answers. And I get, you know, sometimes kids are going to ask questions that you can't answer yourself, but you have to then be able to point them in directions to resources so they know how they can use resources to get answers for themselves and learn and better themselves like that. I think sometimes, you know, from what you see like parents and they're getting mad tired and the kid asks them a question and like, oh, it's just, that's because how it is, that's how it should be, that's all it is. Again, stuff like that, if you can just point them in the direction of the answers, kids are curious, they'll go find out. Or sometimes then they'll go down rabbit holes that you don't want them to go down. So you should be able to provide them with that, you know, level-headedness of how to use resources to get answers, and also making them make smart choices. Of course, their kids, not every choice is going to be smart, but it's all about the guidance and the framework that they grow up in. And I think this is why sometimes you see people who had traditional upbringings, even when they go off the rails a bit, yeah, there's always that traditions in the back of their head, like, this, I shouldn't be doing this, this is that, and they come in full circle and they go back to traditions, you know what I'm saying? Because it works. So I think this is just a quick video to just, explain my ideas. I think people don't take having a child as serious as they should sometimes. Not all people, but some people. And you can see that by how society turns out, and the situations and household situations that kids are in. And again, it's not the end of the world if you're a kid in that situation and you're a level-headed kid and you think right and you get the right opportunities. Yeah, you can make something. Of course you can. But what I'm saying is you gotta think about what you're doing. Especially if you're on that mindset of you want to see how far, human society can even go. The stuff that we can create, the universe is our playground. Remember that. So if you want that, you gotta work somewhere. You gotta, start with your own generation. And again, I just want to finish this video off with a disclaimer. I don't have children, and this is just my opinion, okay? So don't take it too seriously, but let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll just be interested to find out. So have a good one, guys. Stay blessed and keep improving.